Good afternoon, and this is Zemrah. Here's the life from Intellectual Radio. So glad to be here this afternoon, as always, and a better half, Ed,
Yeah.
joining me, and we're going to talk a little bit. We had mentioned before that we tried to kind of stay away from politics, and we really do. But someone had mentioned to us it would be cool for us to kind of talk a little bit today about the inauguration and those that are going to go attend it or watch it. So I was saying on my Facebook page that, again, that I don't really get into a lot about politics. I watch it and listen enough to just be aware and be able to have a conversation about it. But basically, I leave all of that to those that's what they do and talk about. But one of the things that I did say is that people that want to attend the inauguration or not, that would be something good for us to kind of discuss as our hot topic for a couple of minutes. So Ed, we're hoping that we get some call-ins. That's what I had mentioned on Facebook, for people to call in and let's talk a little bit about whether or not they were going to tune in to it or not, or the reason why they would watch it or not watch it or attend it. So what is your take on all of that? You're a little more of a political guy than I am a political woman. So,
well, I wouldn't call it politics.
You wouldn't?
Well, they call it politics, but I'm saying that it should be keeping the people that you elect accountable for what they do and say.
That's politics, baby.
Yeah, that's what they call it. But if we get away from the politics, say, look, if I hire you to do a job and you don't do it, then you're fired. Simple to me.
Yeah.
So if I elect you and you're doing something that the people don't approve of, then you should find another job. So I don't believe that the people in the public at large should be afraid of who's in office, because we ultimately run it. If you don't, you're going to start, because those who never paid attention to politics before, I think they're going to find themselves very, very involved in the politics today, or it's going to be to their detriment. So you better be careful, and you better be astute as to what's going on, because everything they do affects you.
Oh yeah, well, we used to, like we said before, once before, we used to struggle, so that's not a big deal for us. We did that since the beginning of time. But as far as people watching the inauguration, they had mentioned about you shouldn't watch it. You can have your TV on, but watch your tapes. Like I'm going to watch basically maybe some shows I've taped or something, but they were saying to make sure that you have your TV on, because that has something to do with your ratings. You don't have to be watching, which most of the stations are going to air this.
Right.
But as far as you actually watching it, you don't, they're telling people don't watch it.
Well, most of the political leaders who have voiced their, disdain for Donald Trump is not going to go, because they consider this a celebration, and they didn't want to partake in the celebration of his presidency, right? So it's not a political hearing. It has nothing to do with government. It's just a party to celebrate his presidency, and they don't want to be part of it, which is perfectly, that's their option, which is fine with me, because if you insult me, I'm not going to keep any company with you either. So I understand how they feel. And others say, well, he is the president, let bygones be bygones. I don't tend to aspire to that notion, because there's always be bygones when it's your turn. When it's our turn, it's, they pull out all the stops.
Absolutely.
Because when Barack got elected, they swore up and down that we're not going to do anything this man says. We're going to fight him at every turn, and made it public. At the Berthas out and everybody else protesting in the street, had their own movement all down through the South about what they were not going to do.
And then, they had a meeting while his inauguration was going on. There was so many of them having a meeting, planning on blocking any of the ideas that he had.
Yeah, planning seriously about
right.
In Texas, wanted to succeed from the Union.
Right.
So this thing about people shouldn't stay away. No, they should voice their opinion.
Hmm.
That's exactly how they feel, and that's something we as a people have felt we shouldn't do, or it wouldn't do any good. But nowadays, yeah, you should tell people they should know exactly how you feel.
Hmm.
All politicians should know exactly how you feel, whatever they do or say. They should know exactly how you feel and hold them accountable because they work for you. You don't work for them. They should be deathly afraid of the public.
Hmm.
That's what they should be.
Or they're not.
They're
So how do
not
you hold them? How do you hold them accountable? What do
changing
you?
your mind and your attitude about who you're talking to. The person that you're talking to works for you. You don't work for them.
Okay. So how would you suggest that people do that?
Well, by showing your support or your disdain or disagreement with what they're doing by using voting with your feet or your pocketbook, which is something that all politicians understand.
Hmm.
So if I have a beef with the president of Nike and he tells me that he doesn't like, my people or something, well, I'm not going to be buying Nike shoes anymore
Hmm.
or any other product that I disagree with the manufacturer and say, well, yeah, I need this. Well, somebody else makes them. And you don't have to buy theirs. So there's a certain limit you should have. And you should know when you've been insulted.
Hmm.
So, so when he made that comment about the civil rights leader, then anybody who worked in that era should have should voice their opinion by not going if they don't want to, or any other way they want to show their support. But so it's really it's a privilege and an honor to be able to do that in this country, and you can do that and without any type of fear of reprimand.
Because I know a lot of the entertainers, they ended up backing out of it. He has too many entertainers at all. And then what about all the flack that Steve Harvey got? D.L. Hughley was just, he was furious.
Well,
Oh, he was upset. He was very upset with Steve Harvey.
well, my view is that it takes all kinds. You know, people are free to do whatever they want to do, and they're free to disagree with you, which is perfectly okay too. And Steve Harvey's point, I guess, is that if it wouldn't should stay away, you should keep your friends close and
Friends close or
yes, and
enemies?
your enemies closer.
Oh, okay. Because
Uh,
he wasn't a friend. He said that he mentioned that Barack called him, and then Trump called him as well
well, so
to discuss neighborhood projects or how they could benefit, how they could be of some assistance.
well, yeah. So I understand his motives, and they may be valid. So if you want something done, you have to be close to the person. Get right on the train and ask him right straight up. This is what we need.
But why wouldn't you call someone that could probably most likely definitely get the job done?
Oh, so
That would make a lot
oh, you
more
mean
sense.
civic leaders, neighborhood leaders, politicians, and discuss it with
Well,
them.
people within the neighborhood there, I mean, Steve is a comedian. I mean, and he involves himself because I think what he does for young people is wonderful.
Yes.
But as far as being able to do something, and then he mentioned about, I guess, that getting something done in Detroit and getting something done, which I'm sure, he's from Cleveland. So, maybe he's looking at doing something like that. But basically, that didn't really make a whole lot of. He got a lot of flack from that, and a whole lot. I mean, from the kings of comedy. I mean, DL wasn't very very happy or impressed with any of that.
On the face of it, it seems that he was just looking for a photo op with a person of color. Otherwise,
Oh, absolutely. That's what it was.
he probably could have gotten somebody more influence than Steve Harvey,
Yeah.
who's a comedian and an
Well, Steve
entertainer.
has a lot of voice, but it seems like he would have, looked for someone that could really and truly get in there and do something valuable in that area, if that's what it was to represent.
Well, the future is all up to us, and whatever the president does, he's not going to do more than the people allow him to do, and the people
Mhm.
who actually run the government.
Which he hasn't got all that together either. So
Well,
it's a rather. I think what I thought, and I would tell people too. I don't know for those that, but Hermine wrote a powerful article from Obama
you
to
mean Hermine
Trump.
Harvin of Indigo magazine?
Yes,
Yes.
yeah, and it was really good. It was her hot copy on yesterday morning. I read it. It was just wonderful. So it just broke down everything. Very, very, very good. So tune in and look at her hot copy, Indigo's hot copy. Hermie did a great job.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing we're going to start doing, pay attention to politics and do some more reading and keep these people, make them accountable for everything they say and everything they do because they work for you. And don't forget that.
hmm And we can say that until we blue in the face.
That's right.
But it is what it is. I always say we just have to keep everything in prayer because it is what it is.
Progress is steady, but it's slow.
Yeah. Yeah.
No problem.
Okay, well, on that note, we had our little segment. We're going to go to some Zemrah music from one of my live shows. We hoping that things will be born again.
They will.
This is a beautiful tune, and it is from my CD, but we did something a little different with it. So I want to share this with you. We did a little bit of it when I got blessed with Hermine Hartman's gala back in June, when I got the privilege to open up for the dynamic, fantastic Kurt Egan. And that was really, really a blessing. Come bring me your softness, comfort me through all this madness. Baby, don't you know, with you I'm born again. Come, give me your sweetness, for in your arms I find no weakness. Lying safe within your arms, I'm born again. I was half, now I'm whole. I was in need of something. I'm reaching through this old cruel world in need of one. Come on and give to me your kindness, for in your arms I know, baby, I'll find it lying safe within your arms. I'm born again. I was half, now I'm whole. I was in need of something and reaching through this whole cruel world in need of one. Come on and give me your kindness, for in your arms I know I'll find it. I in your arms I'm born again and again. I'm born again. I'm born again and again. Lying safe within your arms. I born again. Hi, that was me at my Here's the Life concert live doing a piece from my CD, Born Again. And that's what this new year is going to be just about, is born again. Got some great things we're working on and want to be anew in this new year with my music. So I'm so excited about this. Once again, we are with Intellectual Radio, bringing to you my music portion now and talking a little bit about some of the things that we are working on. We have joining my CD, and I'm excited about that, is the saxophone player Greg Thompson is going to be doing some sax on a couple of my songs. He's with the Funkadelics, so I'm really excited about that. We got some great guys that are going to be playing on my new CD. So I'm excited about that. And I just wanted to do something a little different today. I saw this piece and I thought it would be kind of funny for my music portion. This is for our, we always got to do a little something. This is to our seniors out there. So I'm going to do a little bit of this for you. And it's really called A Few of My Favorite Things. Maylocks and nose drops and needles for knitting, walkers and handrails and new dental fittings, bundles of magazines tied up with string. These are a few of my favorite things. Cadillacs and cataracts and hearing aids and glasses, Polydent and Fixodent and false teeth in glasses, pacemakers, golf carts, and porches with swings. These are a few of my favorite things. When the pipes leak, when the bones creak, when the knees go bad, then I remember my favorite things, and then I don't feel so bad. Hot tea and crumpets and corn pads for bunions. No spicy hot food and food cooked with onions. Bathrobes and heat pads and hot meals they bring. These are a few of my favorite things. Back pains, confused brains, and no fear of sinning. Thin bones and fractures, and hair that is thinning. And we won't mention our short, shrunken frames when we remember our favorite things. When the joints ache, when the hips break, when the eyes grow dim, then I remember the great life I've had, and then I don't feel so bad. Oh, so bad. That's to my singers out there. A few of my favorite things. Just I thought that would be kind of cute for our music portion. But what I want you to do is make sure that you go to Zemrah Music. You join me on Facebook. You go to Zemrah1 at yahoo.com. If you got any comments for us, if you've got any suggestions for our show, one of the things we want to keep doing is doing our show light and airy. And I had somebody tell me this week that they really do like the show because what we do is we just talking about everyday life and living and embracing life. And again, that's truly what we believe in. And again, I always like to stress my philosophy is that age is nothing but a number. As long as you can walk, talk, and breathe, you just keep it moving. So that's what we're going to keep it doing. So as part of my music portion, that's what we're going to do. And make sure that you like me on Facebook. So we're going to hear another one of my tunes from Zemrah. Every time we meet, it's something new. I find one thing more to loving you, and that's how it's been right from the day you came my way. And the more I learn just who you are, and I see what we have found so far. More and more I know that I can go. My whole life loving you. You taught me how to share and how to give. You showed me just how warm and loving love can be. You taught me for as long as I may live, I must have something to believe in a world that I live in and love. If you have the time, I'll talk it through, how my life has changed since I met you. All the reasons why I know that I must somehow spend my days loving you, needing you. Spend my days in my days loving you, needing you, loving you, loving you. I need you, wanting you. You're back with Zemrah and Ed.
Yes, we are.
Intellectual Radio. We're here every Thursday from 3 to 4, and so glad to be here and hope that you will, continue to tune in to our Thursday portion of Here's the Life with Zemrah. Well, right now we are in our segment of relationships.
Oh,
Yes. And so today we thought we would talk a little bit, again, with being into the new year, we thought that we'd talk a little bit about finances and relationships and who should be the manager of the monies, if, or, who's the best manager of money, and just talk a little bit about and stress some of that, because I think that's the finances is something that seems to have an effect on relationships.
well, it has mostly a negative effect,
It
because
does.
most of the disagreements and breakups in a marriage is the finances of the of the home. What are you laughing at?
Because it just amazes me so much about that. Because I do think, I think that that's very important, that people come, that they come to a real understanding. And really, a lot of times that needs to be in the beginning of a relationship, so it's understood. But I think that that's very important in order to, avoid a lot of conflict.
Well, it gets down to the security of the family,
Hmm.
and which is the primary goal of the finances, and taking care of the bills and making sure the family gets exactly what they need. the time they need it, and who is to me it's a shared responsibility. If the man of the house goes out and makes some money, the woman goes back, they put their money together, they decide on what gets paid, what doesn't get paid, and what's saved, what is invested.
What doesn't get paid?
Yeah, because sometimes, some months, that's where it is. Ask
What
anybody,
is
they'll tell
this?
you, hey, this one I can't pay you. I'm telling you.
No, baby. Like
So
one of the things that we always say, you make a bill, you pay it. Yeah. So I think that's a lot of times that's where people miss the point that, well, if a bill has to be paid, it'll be paid. But if I can pay it, I won't know. If you make the bill, you have to pay it. That's the way that
well,
works.
eventually, yeah, you have to pay it. You don't have to be this month. But
Because I think, and I always say too, that it's very important. Now, that's one thing that I think is very important. When you get to be a certain age, you don't want nobody turning you down for credit. So I think that's very important, and people need to keep that in mind. That credit, having good credit, is like having money in your pocket, and that's something that my mother always taught us, that you can get anything you want if your credit is good. Even if you don't have any money, you can go out and get what you need to get.
well, at the same token, a man should understand that even though money is not the basis of your relationship,
Oh, absolutely not.
uh,
But it sure helps it out.
it's important to manage it, which gives you an indication of what you think about the security of your family, and that's all it is. But it's not the end all of everything. The money does not solve all your problems,
Oh, absolutely.
and it doesn't. But it can create some if you give it that kind of power, and it really doesn't have that kind of power. It's just a means to an end.
Hmm.
You didn't make it. You didn't print it as a piece of paper. It pays for goods and services. That's it. But it does not. It shouldn't. It should not determine whether or not the relationship, succeeds or fails. I don't believe that. So some people have some different opinions about that. But at the end of the day, uh, it's something that you should look at just like a business,
Hmm.
and profit and loss, and what works and what does not work,
Hmm.
and stop using the words right and wrong, because to me there's no right. It's only that what works and that what doesn't. In scientific terms, it's very easy to determine that. If it doesn't work, don't do it. If it
Hmm.
does work, keep doing it.
Hmm.
So it's something that you need to talk about at the beginning of a relationship, because a lot of the important things in a relationship are never talked about, especially at the beginning of a relationship. Everybody says, "Oh, it'll work out. Oh, he'll change or she'll change.
Hmm.
It'll be okay." No, it won't. It's going to stay that way, and you have to accept it, the person just as they are. If they do not want to discuss finances or how to invest money or what the future is bringing, that is what you're going to live with for the rest of your life. And if you can't live with it, then you need to move on.
Yeah. Because I mean, money is very important. I mean, I understand what you're saying as far as,
Uh, the,
not making it
the
the
security of
everything, but
it pays for the security of the family.
absolutely, absolutely. But you have to. Now, what is your take on, and this is something that a lot of times men feel, and I think sometimes you feel that way. I mean, we're going to be realistic that, and sometime again, it can be from upbringing, sisters talk, women talk. And sometimes men don't always feel comfortable in turning their money over. I mean, hey, baby, you handle everything. And like I know a couple of people that the wife handles everything, and then they get allowances. And I really personally think that that's good. You and I, we have a different kind of thing because of the way you think,
Hmm.
and I respect that. But to our audience, just for conversation, peace, and then what I think is important, I still feel that it's very important, and we've had this discussion that the one that manages the money should handle the money because that
Hmm.
makes life a lot easier.
Yeah, you would say that. I understand that.
Yeah, but I'm saying your take on the fact that a lot of men don't feel comfortable in turning their money over.
Well,
They want to make sure that they have what they need, I guess, in their pockets or whatever to do whatever it is they want to do, and maybe an allowance would not necessarily be enough?
No, well, because
Or it's the ego thing, or what is your take on that?
I'm gonna look at it like this. I believe that a man should have enough money to do what he wants to do, or a portion of money set aside for when it comes in that each of them have. It should be your account, it should be my account, and it should be our account.
Well, that's what we have. Yes.
We have house
And
account.
that's important.
This is the money we use to pay the bills and to invest in our future and secure some things. But no person is going to work 5, 6 days a week or whatever, and come home with not enough money to last until the next payday, just for personal things. You don't want to go to your wife for personal things. Oh, honey, I need money for the haircut. I got to get my shoes shined. I got to get my clothes altered. That should be yours. If you do not have that kind of independence, you will resent the whole situation eventually.
I can see that.
And you will resent the marriage. You'll start questioning that because then you're not being satisfied. You're not being nurtured. You're not being
You're not feeling
your
self-worth.
self-worth, that you can have your own self-determination. So, and it all can be done on any scale. People make a lot of money, have a lot of expendable income. People don't have less. But that means that you have less things that you can do, but you can still do the same things. You can still have things that you like to do. If you just want to do something simple like go out every Thursday night and you have a drink with the fellas or something like that, or go play cards or something like that, or go to the game, save up for the week or month to go for the game. But you have to have that outlet, otherwise, there will be no point to you working. After a while, in a man's mind, that's what he said. Well, what am I working for? Because I'm working for the family, and the family's being satisfied, but I see no appreciation for me. And then they'll start looking for other things to do.
Well, when you say no appreciation for you,
well, just appreciation for what he's doing, because it becomes passe, or you take stuff for granted. It's not really special anymore. You think this is just something you should do.
Because that's what they did in the olden days. Because I know my dad did, and wasn't no hesitation. He came home, brought the money, and whatever he wanted, whatever. I mean, because plenty of food, plenty of everything. And then that brings us to fences. Remember we saw that? That's what the brother did, who was Denzel. He came home and put that money on the table because he knew.
What else did the brother do? Okay, I'm just saying.
Well, that was out of order.
No, well, it depends on the order. I'm just saying.
But he didn't do that because of that. He did that for other reasons, which I was really taken by that. But anyway.
Those of you who have not seen the movie, you will see with me once you see it. But I would suggest you go see it. It's an excellent. It's worthy of Academy Award nomination.
Fences.
Believe me, it's called Fences. But I do believe that kind of understanding should be set
in the beginning.
In order in the beginning of a relationship, which most people don't want to talk about. So a lot of the even hesitation about the person's character, people don't talk about because they don't want to bring it up because it might end the relationship.
Now, do you think that a lot of that, nowadays, unfortunately, but a lot of times women tend to make more money than men?
That's okay.
So do you think that, well, you've never been intimidated by that, but why do you think some men do? Well, now, and then not to cut you off, but another thing too, it was mentioned and brought up, which made a lot of sense, that if you can't afford to get married, then you should not do it.
Well, there is an expense to getting married. You just can't. I personally, I wouldn't even date someone if I didn't have the means to do it. If I was working, 6 days a week and didn't have very little time and very little money, I probably would take myself to the show, and that's about it. Or if I met somebody, it's not much you can do. That's what guys do, one night stands, because they can't afford any more than that, which is, understandable. I understand that, but everything should be looked at what it is. If you cannot afford a family and you can't afford to feed a child, then you shouldn't have any.
I really agree with that.
So, and if you do those things that cause you to get a child, you should take that in consideration, that that's a possibility. that should happen. And you should, if it is, then it's your responsibility. No matter who it is to take care of that child, no matter who had it for you, because it's not the child's fault that they got here.
Right.
It's your fault, and you are responsible for that. Even if the female is not responsible, then you should be. Because if you are planning on being the head of the family eventually one day, those are the kind of things that you need to consider, and you have to grow into and accept that responsibility.
Now, and then the other question I asked you, as far as men being intimidated, tend to be intimidated because
it's because of the way they look at money. They look at money as an end all or a status symbol as to who you really are. It doesn't make you smarter, brighter, more intelligent, and more moral just because you make more money. It doesn't make you better looking, even though in the eyes of some people it does, because you have some money. So all of a sudden you look better. Well, if I drink enough, you'll look better. So that's way we look at money. So we have to change the way we look at money. It's just a product. It's just a means of keeping track of numbers in your life and points that you use to buy the goods and services that you need to live off of. That's it. It doesn't make you, a big person because you got a pocket full of it.
Then what's the big deal about who would handle it then?
Well,
is that kind of contradictory? We want to make sure that we.
No, it just doesn't matter who handled it, because if a woman handled most of the bills, a man should be responsible for something else. He should be responsible for some of the bills, or one or two of them, or she taking all the little bills or whatever. Then he should pay the mortgage. I mean, he should be involved in some way.
Oh, absolutely.
So he would know exactly how this process starts. And most men are good at it. They just haven't been asked to do it. I'm personally good with numbers. So it's no big deal to me, because numbers are very simple, because they're obsolete. They're absolute. I mean,
they are what they are.
4 and 4 is 8. It doesn't matter. I mean, how mad you get, it's still gonna be the same thing. So dealing with numbers shouldn't be emotional. That's what I'm saying. It's not an emotional subject to talk about. We need food. It takes so much for us to eat certain things for the week or to a payday. We take that money out, we put it aside so that the children have what they need, and we come last, because children come first, because they are our future. We must make sure they get the nourishment they need so they can think, and so they can go to school, and they don't go to school hungry or cold.
Absolutely.
So we make sure that's done. That's the responsibility of most of the men in the house. No matter how crazy you want to say your wife is, that's still your responsibility to make sure that happens.
So you just want to make sure that that you understand that finances, it is what it is, but that you have to always keep everything in perspective. But I think that it is always good if you have a joint account, you're married, or you have a relationship where maybe you're living together, that he has an account, she has an account, and then you have a joint account where, like you say, your bills, and then you should always have a savings. The savings is very important, at least 6 months worth of emergency money.
Yeah, that's savings. That's your future.
But again, it's nothing like communication. You got to be able to communicate with each other. You got to be able to listen to each other and feel the heart of each other when you're talking about finances, because it can get sticky. It can cause some real stress in a household. So you want to make sure that you are always on point about that. So with that, we just want you to be aware of finances in relationships. So we're going to hear another tune from Zemrah.
There's a certain kind of feeling I feel today. Guess you wonder why I'm feeling this way. It's because this is the greatest day of my life. It's the day that I've dreamed of for so long. A woman, she can mean many, many men who will make her smile and make her kind of grin. But when I met you, you made my heart stand still. You mean the world to me. This is all special day. This is the day that our love has made. This is a special day, a blessed day for you and me. When you met me, you told me that you loved me long before I ever knew. And now I want to thank you for making all my dreams come true. And I love you with all my heart for loving me right from the very start. This is a special day. This is a special day. It's a blessed day for you and me. It's the day that our love has made. This is a special day, a blessed day for you and me. Loving you on a special day.
We're back with Zemrah and Intellectual Radio, and again, we're so happy to be here this afternoon. Please join us again every Thursday from 3 to 4, and we're going to hear a very positive piece to kind of end our show with from Ed to all of our men who I love, adore, and have such great respect and admiration for. So come on, Ed.
Yes, the piece I have is called If. It's by Rudyard Kipling. He was born in Europe about December 1865. Famous playwright and author. And he wrote a piece that I learned many years ago when I was in grammar school. My English teacher gave it to me, and I read it, and I kept it with me all these years. And I have it hanging on the wall in my office at home too. So be patient with me, and I will I want to read it to you, and I want the brothers to listen to this. It's called If. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for the doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated and don't give away to being hated, and yet don't look too good nor walk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken and stoop and build them up with worn out tools, if you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it all and all in one turn of pitch and toss, but lose and start at your beginnings and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force your heart, your nerve, and your sinew to serve you long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will to say, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings but never lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you but none too much, if you can feel the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, then yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and which is more, you'll be a man, my son.
Oh, that is awesome. Awesome. Wonderful message for our
Yeah,
brothers.
yeah, I read that when I was younger, and when I got graduating from engineering school at Union Pacific, I read this to the graduating class.
Oh,
Remember?
wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
remember
yeah,
that?
yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
remember you was there.
Yeah. And it was a great response, too.
Yeah, they loved
Yeah.
it. They still remember that too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's powerful. And we just, we, like I said, we always want to keep things positive, upbeat, just give you some real uh, heartfelt information. Again, what we always say, what comes from the heart goes to the heart. So we want to keep simplicity going, and again, want you to join us every Thursday, 3 to 4 p.m. And here at Intellectual Radio. Here's the Life with Zemrah. So to close out, we want to say we love you. We thank you for tuning in, and hear my signature song as we go out. See you next week. Thank everybody for coming out as always and supporting me. I couldn't do it without you. I really, really appreciate my Cleveland family always, Luke and Willie. I see you over there sitting with our Cleveland family. Thank you all for coming out. And then Loretta, I got to say this to my Loretta. Where's Loretta? Loretta, she brought her whole group, her whole family. I just love you for that. She's one of our ambassadors. And we love you and appreciate you and thank you and John so much. They traveled from out of town also. So we thank you for that and love you and appreciate. Thank you so much. And to all of you that have a dream or look to do something, don't make it a dream. Just go on and go for it. I had no idea that this was going to be a sixth concert for me. And we're going to keep on doing it and doing it. And hope you all will keep coming out and telling people, like me on Facebook, um, just I'm on Twitter, and go to my website. We have some cards out there. I've been asked to do intellectual radio, so that begins for me November 7th. So I'm proud of that and happy about that, where I'll have Here's the Life. I'll be the host. So I want people to know that dreams come true when you believe that they do. And you can do whatever you want to do, and don't let age stop you. I also want you to look for my CD. Miss Pamela Wilkes putting out some beautiful pieces for me, some originals. We did My Mr. and You Are last year, and then we got a wonderful holiday piece coming up. So look for my release party coming up in December. We're looking forward to my CD coming out in December. No complaints and no regrets. I still believe in chasing dreams and placing bets. Although I've learned that all you give is all you get. So give it all you've got. I've had my share. I've drank my fill. And even though I'm satisfied, I'm hungry still to see what's over there beyond the hill and do it all again. So here's to life and every joy it brings. Here's to your life, to dreamers and their